Hello, it's my pleasure to see you in this year 2022, and this is the Single African Market, the only program on the continent of Africa that is going to take you through the journey of the continent to integrate its market across all nations on the continent. And last year, we paid a lot of attention on this program to small and medium enterprises or young entrepreneurs or innovators, and that is because of this particular reason. Listen.
Small, medium enterprises, young entrepreneurs are at the heart of what we're trying to achieve. Trade agreements are not about the past. Trade agreements are about capturing the future. That's why young entrepreneurs have to be at the heart of what we are doing.
So the Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat has started quite often and enough that the future of African businesses are in the hands of the small and medium enterprises or young entrepreneurs and innovators. And that is why the AfCFTA is coming to being, because the future of African business will definitely be in the hands of these small and medium enterprises. And we indeed paid a lot of attention to these small and medium enterprises. In 2021, particularly young entrepreneurs and innovators, we highlighted quite a number of them, letting you know what they're doing, what they are into, and how they intend to take advantage of the AfCFTA. In this year, 2022, we are going to focus on other areas of businesses and large businesses, conglomerate, those who are already exporting to other African countries like the likes of TRADECOMM, Blue Skies, Gandor Cosmetics, and all of that. We will be bringing all of them on this platform to let you know how they are utilizing the AfCFTA and also how you will benefit from the AfCFTA, because we have been told by the Secretary General that this year 2022 we are definitely going to trade under the AfCFTA. The more reason why you have to tag along with this platform and learn a lot how this whole journey is going to go. In the meantime, let's bring you an omnibus profile of all the entrepreneurs that we highlighted in the year 2021.
I was in University of Cape Coast when the conception of the idea came. I bypassed the woman who was selling tiger nuts. This crop is very nutritious and well known in Ghana, but up to this point, tiger nuts does not have a value-added product in the market. So I wanted to experiment to know more about the crop. UNDP grants came in very handy to help us with the fabrication, which were done locally here in Ghana. This has helped us with the processing line of the milk drink, and now we are able to produce from the 100 bottles we were doing before. Now we're able to do 8,000 of the milk drink per month, and we're also able to do 4,000 of the biscuits in a month.
His vision is to scale up production and sell to the wider African market.
As we increase, we are also targeting the African market.
Our second innovator began producing his own herbal medicines after graduating from the university.
When Kinnock completed KNUST, finding a job became a challenge. To remedy this, I started the quest of creating a job for myself and others. I started the research, started from the kitchen. I needed FDA certification to be able to come out. We had the funding from UNDP and we purchased a locally manufactured boiler, which is 1,000 liters capacity. And with this, we are now increasing our output from 25 bottles to 2,000 bottles at a go.
And the bigger African market is his dream.
We have the vision of reaching a lot of the African countries because of our mode. We are looking up to partnering with pharmaceutical companies in these countries and then even health professionals.
Our next innovator created a disinfection chamber to keep Ghanaians safe and assist the nation bounce back from the effect of COVID-19.
During the wake of COVID-19, all countries in the world, including Africa, was affected. Ghana wasn't exempted.
Scaling up to the African market is his dream.
If we get the help would not be able to only ensure COVID safety in Ghana, would be able to ensure COVID safety in the West African sub-region and the entire continent as a whole.
Then we came to Richard Kwarteng, who began as a shoemaker startup and now owns a household name shoe factory in Kumasi and in Black Shoes. He stretched up his talent even further and innovated a facility that allows one to wash and sanitize their hands and checks body temperature within this COVID era.
During the COVID period, I wanted to make a system for my factory, my shoe factory, so that my workers there will use and be safe. And today we are here with production of the solar wash, and we've graduated and improved upon it to even produce a better one called Rapid Check.
Richard has dreams to storm the African market.
My name is Kwarteng Richard, and I want to storm the single African market.
We focused on Felix, who fabricates greenhouses for the production of snails. He has a market of about 2.4 million snails per annum, yet can only supply 300 snails a year. He's asking more people to join the snail farming.
Snails is a delicacy. Restaurants make a high markup from that. So yes, we sell a lot of them. And then this is also a demo farm, so people come and see and then they buy. So we encourage a lot of the youth to come into farming, not necessarily snails. You can do a lot of other things in the value chain. At every given time, we have about 200,000 demand of snail pieces in Ghana alone. And the clients that wants us to get them the snail, they need 2.4 million snails every year. Almost all the West African to north to east, we all eat snails. But most of them are imported from Greece and other places. But we as a company want to migrate to all these markets.
We then visited Mushroom Queen, who is already supplying mushroom seeds to Côte d'Ivoire. She hopes to cement her title as the Mushroom Queen of Africa.
So currently, we supply the market fresh mushrooms. We have the dry. We are yet to work on the canned mushrooms, which is part of our vision to can them because of taking advantage of the new opportunity of AfCFTA to be represented in most African countries. We are currently in Côte d'Ivoire supplying some of the mushroom seed. So that is where we want to be for the African market.
Our next entrepreneur, Anne, is packaging her peanut butter in a sachet. She's certain her packaging places her in a position to compete in every African market and beyond.
I didn't take anything for granted, seriously, because I feel like whatever I was doing, I'm not doing just for the Ghanaian market, but I was doing for the international market and the other African markets as well. And we look to send to other African countries. We've actually gotten someone who wants to take it to Togo and send them to a number of countries, and the feedback has been positive. They actually tell me that when they see them in the shops or they receive them, they actually think it's a foreign product. They never thought it was a Ghanaian product, so they see produced in Ghana or made in Ghana. Our vision now is to get into the African markets. I have someone in South Africa who is waiting to get some there.
Then we came to Rose Sewa of West African Feeds, who is using black soldier flies to decompose organic materials, including food waste, into feed for fish, piggery, poultry, and serving as organic fertilizer for crop production.
If we are able to get the right support to scale up, we will supply the Ghanaian markets, then we will move to other African markets such as Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Togo, and other countries in Africa too. This will help us to be able to deal with waste problem in Ghana and in Africa, and also cut down the imports of fish meal feed and poultry feed, and also help us collect waste and decompose it properly.
We met a father and his sons who have invented a chipping spreader.
As it is moving, the chippings will be falling, and it will be spreading. The chippings will be spreading on the road As it's getting low, then you tip it, then to move it, it will fill to the brim.
China for grab to tour, China for ya. They won't tell any. Let's spread a ball to a chipping, truck. Let's say you bought to a man.
So you are saying local contractors in Ghana here, you have to come to Marseille and then buy this machine.
We then headed to Takrady to meet Inventor One, inventing cars, farming implements, and even padlocks. We caught up with Cecil, a tailor or fashion designer who has sewn ceremonial gowns for 8 West African presidents and supplies many African universities with ceremonial gowns.
University of Ghana, they are PhD gowns. I saw some for them. Accra Technical University, Central University, Pentecost University, exhibitions and graduations. And then we have also sewn for presidents of West African countries, about 8 of them. We have done for Adama Barrow. We have done for Mada Bio of Sierra Leone. We have done for President Oponria of Liberia, President Akufo-Addo of Ghana, former President Kufuor. We have sewn gown for, and former President Rawlings. It tells you all that we have the standard and we can meet every standard across the region. We are importing our fabrics from Nigeria and then we sew in Ghana. So it means that we are already doing what AfCFTA is bringing on board. So we embrace that. And if AfCFTA is coming on board with this free trade, it is going to make our work much more easier. So we import, we sew, and then we also in turn export to most of the West African countries that I already mentioned that we are sewing for.
We unveiled the producer of African drums and musical instruments, who together with his partners from other African countries await the AfCFTA to take advantage of the African market.
After you go, I see the idea nice because it's bringing us to connect together, to be united. Thank you, AfCFTA. Thank you. Merci beaucoup, AfCFTA.
This is what AfCFTA is about, bringing our brothers from other areas of Africa to get connected together, do business together. He is from Burkina Faso.
While we are there at the work, people to another country to work. Africa one. Être un lettre. Il y a la force. Ghana, Burkina, Senegal, Mali.
I come to Ghana, work drums work. It's good for me to work for Ghana. Bon, je viens de la Côte d'Ivoire.
So we are looking at AfCFTA to reduce or take away all these duties so that we can extend our export state to the western part of Africa and the other parts of African countries.
Then we revealed a 34-year-old from Botswana who dreams to light the whole of Africa and seeking partners in Ghana to start manufacturing of LED bulbs.
At the age of 27, I had a dream of lighting up Africa. At the age of 29, after doing a few supply jobs with my government, I managed to source money. I use the same money now to feed my dream, which was to manufacture LED lights in Botswana. Fast forward 3 years later, which is where we are right now, the bulb is selling in all major retailers in Botswana, and we're the fastest selling brand across our country. As an expansion plan, the bulb right now has footprint in South Africa. Pleasure to have different partnerships here in Ghana to make this dream happen.
There was also the turn of Afro King's Salon, which produces and decently packages natural hair products and adding value to shea nuts.
We are health conscious now and everybody is going natural. We want to expand in that we want it to be accessible. We believe that when AfCFTA comes in to help SMEs like us, they would help us reduce the difficulty in transporting goods like these, removing taxes, making it easier to transport. It won't be expensive because it's very expensive when you airlifting even a carton.
We profiled the young animator with one of the most recognized animation studios in Africa.
And the winner for the Creative Arts and Support Award, Francis Brown.
AfCFTA Studios is West Africa's premium animation hub. So we've been able to produce a number of short films, which all have gone to festivals, animation festivals worldwide, and we won Best Animation Film in Africa in the year 2016. Looking at our neighboring Nigeria with their Nollywood industry, it only makes it easier for someone like me to be able to enter Nigeria at any given time, to go collaborate and bring Nigerians to Ghana to collaborate with me without going through a lot of hustle. So I'm very happy that we have AfCFTA now, so that we can use this new form of storytelling.
And finally, we featured Labelle Farms, who is adding value to lemongrass by producing tea in a very decent package. She's also adding value to Prekese and Dawadawa in a standard and beautiful package.
We are looking forward to having it in every other country, Burkina, Nigeria, Togo. Our labels are written both in English and French, hence anyone Anglophone or Francophone can have it, read the instructions and take it, and we are good to go. I'm very excited about the AfCFTA because it's going to help young people like me or anyone who is looking forward to selling his or her products in other African countries. It would aid in transporting our items to other countries, devoid of certain barriers and duties.
Okay, so having seen all these entrepreneurs, innovators, small and medium enterprises, now pundits are saying that there's a lot that they need to know, how to even protect their intellectual property for those who are innovating a lot of stuff, how to stay competitive as we are going to welcome other products, other businesses into even the Ghanaian environment and across the continent. How do they survive? And how can they, businesses in Ghana or any other African country, survive in other countries if they want to trade there? We sat down this week with the International Chamber of Commerce to get answers to all of these. What do you think are some of the things young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general should be looking out for? What are the key things, especially if they want to take advantage of the continental market, businesses elsewhere, in terms of competition, in terms of quality and standards of products and all of that?
The pandemic brought to the fore the idea of digitization, and we've realized that it's also a way to go around the lack of infrastructure. At least we can connect digitally. So we just hope the AfCFTA can work on all the protocols that have to do with e-commerce. And ICC has also realized that a lot of people are developing all kinds of digital platforms. So as part of one of our major projects is to work on a global standard on the development of digital platforms, voluntary global standard that others can use. For entrepreneurs, this is the best time as people try to rebuild their economies. And within Africa, since the disruption of global supply chains this year, people could not go to countries like China to go and import. The cost has also gone through the roof. So people need to look within to find close substitutes. So you build your capacity locally by accessing the Ghanaian market, and then accessing the ECOWAS market, and then reaching out to the rest of Africa. It's brought to the fore that we have to start thinking of producing things ourselves, you know, as a result of the disruption in global supply chains. You need to know the rudiments of getting involved in international trade. First, it has an idea. If you have a very good idea and you think this idea can be commercialized, you need to protect that idea as your first major asset. And how do you manage the asset? And then how do you commercialize the asset, the idea? And that's the kind of support ICC intends providing through its centers of entrepreneurship.
At the moment, how do you think businesses and entrepreneurs, particularly for entrepreneurs too, who are probably going to start continental trading or regional trading for the first time, what are they to expect when it comes to disputes, and what are the resolutions that can be available for them?
It all starts with the contract. For now, what we've observed is that people engage in businesses, maybe on the phone, send money for things to be supplied. If it's not supplied, then they end up at the embassy of the country, and then they demand that the embassy should assist them, more or less retrieve their money since the goods were not supplied. And we believe it should go beyond that. You should at least get to know who your partner is through the right channels, and then there's some due diligence is done. And that's where you need business associations such as the Chambers of Commerce. So once they are in the know and they know the partner you have on the other side is credible, then a contract is drafted. ICC has a lot of model contracts, and we'll be running training programs for lawyers. We'll be training legal counsel for state institutions, and then also provide some training for startups. For at least they need to know how these contracts are drafted. The training for state institutions is more to do with international contracts involving state institutions and other parties. But the one that will be done will be run like a school on dispute resolution, and that one will be for corporate bodies and then lawyers of SMEs. We've done some work with UNDP, and currently we just launched the ICC WIPRO IP diagnostic tool, and which is available for SMEs. For startups and all entrepreneurs, they need to protect their IP assets, that's their intellectual property assets. But it costs a lot of money, and that's always been a problem for most entrepreneurs. Your nice ideas need to be protected.
Yes.
So we've come out with a tool, and we have the experts. So we intend running a lot of training programs for SMEs in that department.
Good.
That before you even go international, whatever you have is an asset that needs to be protected, managed, and be leveraged on.
It's been one of the areas that I know that a lot of the entrepreneurs, innovators that we have had on the program have been expecting a lot of education on. How do they protect some of the things that they have done? Some of the innovations they've come up with. So how do people like this, other innovators in other fields, be able to protect their properties, or as you put it, their intellectual properties, as we all enter into implementation of AfCFTA? Because possibly there will be others coming from elsewhere, competition will come in. How do they protect that?
That's key, and that's how come the ICC thought it wise to link up with the International Trade Center and WIPRO to work on those tools. It was launched in November, but now we need to go out and then run training programs for SMEs to know how to assess these tools. It starts with just a set of questionnaires, and you do a pre-assessment for you to know what your assets are, because in actual fact, a lot of people don't even know, first have to identify that what they have is an asset, So you go through that process, and then you go on the digital platform, you assess the questionnaires, yes or no, and then it generates a report straight away for you to know what you have. And then we, as ICC, would then run training programs to guide you, for you to know how to leverage on whatever asset that you have.
Is there money involved? Is it free? How do entrepreneurs, particularly young ones, innovators, get to see this? Where can they find it?
Come January, I think we will roll out the program and it will intend advertising using your media, single African market. From our own research, we realized that access to market is key. Access to finance, it's also a problem. And access to finance is not just a Ghana problem. At first we thought it was just an African problem. It looks like it's a global thing, and it's gotten worse as a result of COVID. So ICC has come up with TRADECOMM. It's also another platform where we want to encourage SMEs to access all the solutions that we've developed with our partners on how best they can access finance, not just within Ghana but outside, and then also how to develop their businesses for them to access the various markets that are available within the ICC network. Access to market can be accessed through the Chamber Connect, because it's a global network within 130 countries that goes beyond Africa. If you're looking for maybe an equipment to produce something through the Chamber Connect network, you can connect to any other country, and then through the network you can have access to both your supplies and then to the key members within the chambers within Africa. You could also access markets.
If you can tell us exactly what ICC is all about and has been doing so far, as far as businesses on the continent and in Ghana is concerned.
Yeah, right from the onset, as a result of the pandemic, a lot of businesses were hit with the disruptions and the lockdowns. So there was a global call for corporate bodies and the private sector to work with various governments to try and find solutions on how to save lives and how to save livelihoods. And as the global voice of the real economy, ICC took it upon itself to work with its network of in 130 countries, representing 45 million companies, to draw on all the expertise that we have available to come up with solutions. So we kick-started by working with the WHO to get the multinationals within our midst to help with COVAX, to get a vaccine for developing countries. We had a few virtual meetings to discuss that. And then we also actually advocated for a global solution to the pandemic, though most countries wanted to go it alone. And as a result of that, we had to call on the two ambassadors, co-ambassadors of the SDGs. That's our president and the president of Norway. And then we did launch 4BBT as a way of helping businesses to build back better. And the key partners at the time was the UNDP and then the Ministry of Business Development. Since then, we also realized that people had existing contracts, international contracts. So we did run some SME labs last year to highlight the implications of contracts that most of the companies had in session. And as a result, we looked at how even startups could look at the legal implications of some of the contracts that they had. And we drew on all the experts around the world to run these virtual workshops. And as a result, we were selected as a country as part of a global private sector facility, COVID facility, to see how best the private sector can mobilize its resources to help SMEs build back better. And the COVID facility selected just 5 countries for a pilot. That includes Ghana, the Philippines, Turkey, and then Colombia. So as part of the call for the private sector to partner governments to try and see how we can contain or help businesses or SMEs build back better, the key partners of the COVID-19 private sector facility being ICC, which is the global voice of the real economy, and PricewaterhouseCoopers, DHL, Microsoft came together to more or less identify, do some needs assessment to identify the gaps that exist and the needs that need to be addressed as far as SMEs are concerned. And Ghana was selected as one of the countries to be used for a pilot, in addition to Turkey, Colombia, and then the Philippines. The partners are now working on a support program for SMEs, and then also we're keen on working with the over 200 companies that have been selected by the Ministry of Trade for support under the African Continental Free Trade Area. So ICC's contribution to the partnership, that's more will be done through our centers of entrepreneurship. It is a platform that's been created globally it draws on ICC expertise and can be adapted locally. It improves the competitiveness of SMEs and also improves their competencies, and we intend to draw on all the experts that we have within our network.
Any hopes and wishes for this year?
I have this strong conviction that we will deal with COVID. So for entrepreneurs, this is the best time to put on your thinking cap, and then since we've all been home, you develop whatever project you're working on. You've had enough time to work on. The COVID more or less has been a blessing in disguise. Previously we were all lazy, just sit back, let me just go get it import from this country here and there. But the disruptions in global supply chains, it's forced people to think. And as a result, ICC will be organizing an ICC Africa Supply Chain Summit in October this year. We hope to bring all our key partners, our experts within the ICC Global Network to come share ideas with us.
Where will this be launched? Which country? Is it Ghana?
It's definitely in Ghana because we have the AfCFTA Secretariat over here. So we want to bring everybody here so that we find a solution to develop a sustainable supply chain for not just supply chain finance, but to find a solution on how to develop a sustainable supply chain system for Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the world.
So we will be hearing a lot from the International Chamber of Commerce getting into this year, 2022, because we are hoping that the implementation of the AfCFTA starts this year. And they, plus other associations like the Ghana Chamber of Commerce, the Ghana Association of Industries, and all of that, they will be on the platform to guide all of us how we can take advantage of the AfCFTA. As I have announced to you earlier, in 2021, this year, our focus is going to be on the entire continent. So you shouldn't be surprised to see us in all the other countries, the WAMSI countries, the West African countries, the other East African countries. We'll be telling you the stories that are emanating from there as the entire continent prepares to trade on this particular agenda called the AfCFTA, which we're all hoping that it will be successful by the end of this year, 2022. The weather report plus the flight schedules for all African cities are coming up next on your screens, as well as the Forex rate for the African market and the AfCFTA membership status for countries. That's it with this New Year edition of the Single African Market Program. And like I used to tell you, in the year 2021, the AfCFTA is going to affect everybody. Whether you are young or old, worker or not, female or male, you will be impacted either negatively or positively by the AfCFTA. And that's why you need to tag along this particular program so that you can understand and take advantage of the AfCFTA and then be impacted positively by the AfCFTA. Because you may be a journalist and find yourself in one other African country reporting. How does the AfCFTA cover you? A doctor, you want to establish a clinic in South Africa, for instance. How does the AfCFTA cover you? A nurse, you get appointment in Uganda. How does the AfCFTA cover you? A teacher, you get appointment to teach English in Cameroon, for instance. How does the AfCFTA cover you? A normal citizen, you get into another African country, you get robbed, you need medical services. How do you get that under AfCFTA? This is why you have to be part of this program, because once you're a citizen of the continent of Africa, you need to know what to do under this new paradigm, this whole new paradigm. It is new and it is here to stay. That is why you need to understand it. I thank you for watching this program throughout, and I'm going to be with you throughout in the year 2022 to bring all that you need to know to understand the AfCFTA. I'll see you same time next week. Thank you.
In the name of great Africa, is the fight and